Alright, so yesterday I asked people their opinions currently on Ragnarok. Ragnarok right now is something that I think, at least from the reactions I've seen on Twitter, it's something that really has sparked interest for a lot of people, especially people that have quit the game. They saw the Ragnarok trailer and they were like, yeah, I'm coming back. So I think it's honestly the biggest thing. Like, Ban was a cool thing that they released as like a second anniversary festival, but it was just a festival, so it wasn't as exciting. I'm talking like recent times, you know. But this whole like Ragnarok stuff, they've been keeping that under the rug, working on that for a long time, and just revealing it out of nowhere. Like 4 days before revealing, they like, oh yeah, by the way, this is something that we're going to be announcing. They're like, what's happening? It was a really good move for them. So I wanted to know what people think about it. So hit a poll on the community tab. I usually just make polls because they get more traction. But it was more like a question, really. I wanted to see replies. So what do you think about Ragnarok? By the way, anytime I make a question in the community poll, community tab, I'm probably going to make a video on it, unless I just decide not to. But probably, yeah. So if you see a question and you want maybe appear on the video, I do recommend replying, or you know, maybe liking a comment that you want to appear, so it gets bumped up, right? Because by the way, the YouTube sorts the comments is, you know, most liked on top. If you think of Ragnarok from the review, and reply of what you think of it / want to see from it. I put these options for replying. Excited for it. People who really don't care. 13% of 30k. Somewhat excited but scared being disappointed, because of course you can't just, you know, just blindly accept that everything's going to be great. But you know, some people are a little skeptical, which is fine. That's why I put the option there in the first place. And last option is basically the same one, but you know, mommy milkers. Oh, I can't wait for them to reveal that character. I mean, she might be on the second batch, but she also could be in the last batch of characters, because the way they're probably going to be doing it is they're going to be doing batches of 4. It's 20 characters, so 5 batches of 4 is probably how they're going to do it. The first batch of 4, we already know who it's going to be. It's going to be like the small cat, is a dog boy, so wolf boy. The main villain guy. We actually have, let me actually go on their Twitter. They actually have a picture of their art. This is their Twitter right here. They actually have a picture of their art. Yeah, right here. So these, not this one, but these 4 will be the characters that are gonna come in the first batch. Yeah, I think so, yeah. So the main villain guy, the wolf boy, this guy, which I think is really cool, and she's way taller than me. I'm 183 centimeters tall in real life, obviously. They show like the sizes, right? And this woman's like 194. She's basically 195 here, right? So much taller than me. He's a little bit taller than me as well. He's about my size, 182 right here. Anyways, let's go back. So let's see what people think of it. Let's go in the replies. The whole concept is really cool. I just hope it gives me a reason to come back to the game. Again, like I said, lots of people saw this whole thing. They're like, yeah, this might be something that makes me come back to the game. Which is important because, of course, with all gacha games, literally every single gacha game, they start going on a loop, right? Because in the beginning, it's all very exciting and stuff, right? Because it's a lot of new stuff. But it gets to the point where the developers just start re-releasing basically the same activity over and over again, which is what Grand Cross is doing currently, basically. It's what Dokkan has been doing for years. It's just every gacha game that, at least that I played, is the same thing. They release some new stuff here and there sometimes, but majority of the time spent playing the game is just repeating basically the same activity over and over and over again. And when there's new content, it's basically that activity just re-released. So it's just every gacha game basically. So having this like new, fresh stuff, really cool. With Ragnarok, it's safe to say that after 2 years when cosplaying entering the season 2, yeah, it's like a part 2 of Grand Cross, which is a really smart, you know, time to drop, you know, second anniversary. I think this would be like part 2 of the second anniversary, right? Because no, it might be like at the end of the anniversary celebration, because Bon starts, and it will be like a month after Bon's release. It will be when this whole thing releases. So it's basically, you know, basically a season 2 of Grand Cross. Yes. It was a very smart way of dropping, actually, a very smart window of drop. For global, of course, guys didn't actually get it at the anniversary, but they mostly consider the Korean timeline to be the real timeline, right? But did Grand Cross mean Grand Crossover? Because I'm getting multiple animals. Yeah, I mean, they really have been making a lot of collabs. Not as much as other games. There are like other gacha games, especially gacha games that are only Japanese. But maybe they have like an easier way of getting the hold of licenses and stuff. There's gacha games that have so many collabs. Like, I don't remember this one game that is always like on the top of top grossing. They make collabs with like every anime. They made one with Seven Deadly Sins. They make with like Demon Slayer. There was one with Jujutsu Kaisen, I believe. Like it's crazy. Grand Cross is not there, you know, with all these collabs, but oh man, I would love a Jujutsu Kaisen collab. That would be so insane. But yeah, like this whole like anime concept of making its own anime is so good, because that's basically what Genshin is, right? And I mentioned this on my other video talking about Ragnarok, but they really clearly are trying to make like a Genshin universe on Grand Cross, which is so smart, because that's something that appeals to so many more people than just people that are familiar with the anime of Seven Deadly Sins. And it's so smart by the developers to make something like that. That's why I like it so much. And we can, you know, like other characters, they are completely brand new, and you get attached to them that way, just like it is with Genshin. Genshin stans, they are so attached to the characters. And that might be the case of Grand Cross, I don't know. But, you know, with just the trailer reveal, there's so many characters people are excited for. The 4 girl, let me actually... the Grand Cross official page posted recently, yeah. The trailer again, so let me actually go back here. This girl right here, that's fighting Ascanor. Is it here? I think it's next, yeah. So many people are hyping her up, yes. This girl that's fighting Ascanor, she's definitely going to be a fan favorite. Obviously, this girl's going to be a fan favorite. I think the main villain guy is going to be a fan favorite as well. So there's a lot of characters to like. There's very different types of characters. Is it this guy right here? Where is him? Is he ever going to show up? Yeah, this guy right here is like a fire guy. He looks pretty cool. We didn't get much screen time for him, but you can see like in the miniature here, his face. There's a lot of characters to like, you know, so it's a really good concept. Also, it's really cool with everything as I've seen about Ragnarok. I'm just very worried about the power creep. Still being around the Purgatory Bangas is the one. Yeah, that is one thing, right? Power creep wise, there's a very good chance they will be very strong. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that they're going to be insanely difficult to get, which is, I think, a very important detail. If they are like the other OC characters, right, are not like in every banner, but they are consistently coming back. So I hope it's like that with the Ragnarok characters. Either they're gonna have their own banner, Ragnarok banner, which that will not be my preferred choice, but if they are just thrown in festival banners and stuff like that, that'll be phenomenal for just getting as an additional character in each banner. That would be amazing. I think that power creep wise, right now in the game, I think that, you know, there's so many teams to use in PvP. Like, you can use like very many different teams and they're all very powerful by themselves, but power creep isn't the craziest. Like, if you use Bon, you can still compete against like other teams, and if you use Goddess Liz with Ascanor, you can still compete with other teams, and Merlin can still compete with other teams. There's a lot of choice there for whatever you prefer. So I hope they don't really mess that up, where it's like you can only use the Ragnarok characters or you're gonna lose every match. I hope it's more like how they're doing it recently. After the one, right, with Merlin and Zeldris and even Assault Melee to an extent, they haven't released broken characters where you have to use them or you're gonna lose. They're releasing good characters that, you know, don't break the game like the one did, but they're still viable. And I think that that's how they should do it, where like you can use like a Ragnarok team, or you can use like the Ragnarok units on your team, but you cannot as well at the same time, you know? So that's how I hope they do it. We'll see. I was always worried about what happened to Dragon Cross, which is the other source material. Storylines of DLC characters can go only so far, but I'm very excited. True. Like, the thing is that source material-wise, we are not at the end yet, of course. We still have a lot to go through, which probably could last them another year and a half. And they're clearly interested in Knights of the Apocalypse, which is the sequel to the Seven Deadly Sins. You know, Bon got that costume from Knights of the Apocalypse, and just in general, I believe they would go to Knights of the Apocalypse for content. So that wouldn't be, you know, that wouldn't be like the worst thing ever. And, you know, games like, again, I bring back Dokkan, Dragon Ball Super has ended years ago, and they're still, you know, pumping out the same characters repeatedly, just different. That's probably what Grand Cross would do. But it, like, you know, with collabs, getting, you know, in between banners of release of new characters, and now with like many OC characters coming out, I think they have a good run. Because they even said, like, in a dev note that they plan on keeping Grand Cross around for at least 10 years or something like that. If they really plan on doing that, they're gonna have to do some good stuff with Ragnarok for sure. Most excited I've been for Grand Cross, bar none. For some reasons, not just Grand Cross, for the whole series. This makes me care about the game again. It's extremely excited. Yeah, I mean, again, just I know a lot of people are big fans of Seven Deadly Sins, but a lot of people are like, just, you know, I like Seven Deadly Sins, but it's not the biggest thing. I'm here mostly for the game, and it's more, you know, towards those people, it's much better to have something fresh like this than to just keep re-releasing like the 100th Meliodas, right? And I haven't seen anyone say, like, be like a purist, right? Where they're like, oh, they keep releasing these other characters that aren't from Seven Deadly Sins. This is so bad. Because I remember seeing that when we got the second collab with AOT. So many people being like, oh, this isn't even the Seven Deadly Sins game anymore. They keep releasing characters from other series. And it's like, bro, it's just, it's a game. You're supposed to have fun with it, you know? Hype with Nordic mythology, they can bring in more characters, especially fairies and giants. Also, one true, man, I didn't even think about him, but fairies and giants could use a big buff from that. Also, want to see more of some of my favorite characters or not. So it's been so long since I finished the manga. Yeah, I mean, they definitely, you know, are going to be re-releasing characters. Like, we're definitely going to have 2 more versions of the one. We're definitely going to have 2 more versions of Assault Melee and stuff like that, you know? So it's not like Ragnarok is the end of the Seven Deadly Sins characters or something like that. Okay, finally we got something interesting on top of contents and gems. I hope the Eon's cosmetics will be available for everyone. They probably will. At the same time, with how they handled OC cosmetics, that might be scaring me, because you know, I tell this, Shin released, and when Shin released, I wasn't a whale, right? Green Shin, when he released, I wasn't a whale, so I didn't buy his cosmetics, and his cosmetics didn't come back for over a year, so I just couldn't have his cosmetics for over a year, I believe. So it was horrible. So I hope it's not the case with that. Nothing's coming if the new character is good. If the new character are good, this will be a good update. Extra content we've been missing, but also some instructions. I don't know about story chapters being delayed, but it could happen. It could be that they release, you know, one story chapter for the Seven Deadly Sins story, one chapter for Ragnarok. But I don't think Ragnarok will be monthly. You know what I mean? I think Ragnarok will be maybe bi-monthly, where it's one every 2 or maybe even 3 months. Because I don't know how fast they can really pump these out and how much content they really have for it. So might not really be monthly. But I mean, content is content, you know? And if they use that to extend the story even, to make it like last longer, I mean, so be it, I guess. Mad hypes and characters look awesome, and it's generally gonna make the game so much more fun. It really feels like home in Grand Cross. Again, they're probably not very scared of, you know, branching out from Seven Deadly Sins, which is very important. And honestly, if they're making like characters like these, I hope that they are more open for collabs with, you know, anime that are more like that, where it's not, you know, super like how can I put this, like super like Seven Deadly Sins, because I mean it is like not, you know, super realistic, these whole like, you know, powers that they have with like the four woman or stuff like that, but you know, they could, all I want to say is I want them to collab with Jujutsu Kaisen, okay? Like real people that have power, unlike, you know, Seven Deadly Sins where it's like there's like giants and stuff. You know, all I want is a collab with Jujutsu Kaisen, and if they can branch out to that would be phenomenal. But it really puts more trust that the devs are not scared for trying out different stuff, which I think it's good. Are we gonna summon for every character so I don't have to summon for festival units now? It's the thing, right? I don't know what Glow players are gonna do. Skip on? Wait for Ragnarok? I just don't care how they handle the banners. That is important, right? How they're gonna handle the banners is very important. So we're gonna see one of the characters from the first batch will be free. I don't know if they're gonna keep doing that for every batch, but I just hope that they'll you know, give one of the good ones for sure. Excited. You didn't rush 6 months worth banner into 1.5, but well. This is a global issue, right? Now, you know, JP didn't have this issue because JP, you know, had the regular progression. But, I mean, I think that global now, right? Global currently is just going to be in the same line as JP, right? Everything that releases on JP, exactly a month later, releases on global. So I think that for now on, global won't have that issue anymore. But yeah. Yeah, I showed 9 of these 20 characters, no for them. Yeah, they showed on the story the you know, the cutscene, none of the 20 characters. Yeah, these are the 4 that are coming out, and they're from the trailer. Blonde Viking fighting Ban, but Brunhild. Oh man, it's gonna be so awful speaking these names. Fire Dude fighting Fenrir, female Thor, fairy in the cage, and yeah, there was a fairy in the cage that. King looked at. Yeah, this right here. The lolly in the cage. And then Freya is the big milker's girl with the little kitty on the side. Might even see Kratos. That would be crazy. Not exactly Kratos from, you know, God of War, but you know, someone named Kratos. There it's like similar. All new content, all new problems, all new fixes. I mean, what fixes are you talking about? I mean, of course, for me, there are some things that I already complained about, and they addressed it, so they might be coming in the future. But this is not like the post that they made to say, oh, Grand Cross is safe. They're just promoting new content, so I don't know. This guy was actually, this comment wasn't so bad until he got here. JP are usually better at this, but global devs are devils. This doesn't make any sense currently, just because JP and global are literally the same game. But yeah, I mean, this is just, you know, showing off new content, and they did literally make a post talking about issues even before it. So you know, issues are going to be resolved. This is just new content being showed. Which doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna take time away from fixing the game to make, you know, new story or something like that. I think it may have significantly increased the game's lifespan. True. You know, at some point, you know, all games close, right? But this definitely, you know, is gonna help. So yeah, I think I'm done for now on with the comments. I mean, it's you know, mostly positive. Some people here and there saying, you know, oh, they should be fixing the game, not making new content. But you know, it is what it is. Some people are gonna hate, but that's fine. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I'm gonna probably make a question. Are you skipping Bond for Ragnarok? I don't want to see the answers from people, but that's about it.